Hello everyone. Today we are back with a special video. In this video, we will predict the prices of the stock by building a LSTM model. If you follow this video till end, then you can also create a model for any company and earn a lot of money by predicting the future stock prices. And you can also mention this type of model in your CVs for your interview processes. Before we start, here are a few details about DataMonk. In DataMonk, we help students to prepare for different type of interviews and provide study material for their references. So, to know more about the DataMonk, you can visit the website www.thedatamonk.com. So now, let's get started. So, our first question will be, what do you mean by LSTM? So, in simple term, LSTM stands for long short term memory. It is a special type of recurrent neural network which can retain important information over time using memory cells. This property of LSTMs make it a wonderful algorithm to learn sequences that are independent and can help to build solutions like language translation, chatbots, autocorrection, next word suggestions, and many more type of applications. Today, we will follow one of the application for LSTM, which is to predict the stock prices of any company. So our main question for stock price prediction will be why we use LSTM over RNN. While recurrent neural network is great, but there was a shortcoming in recurrent neural network, which was the inability to store long-term information. This improvisation to store and remember long-term information is named as long short-term memory networks or LSTMs in short. Let's see by looking in the figure how we can predict stock prices using LSTMs. As you all know that the stock on a particular day is related to the stock of that company in the previous day or previous to previous days. So by using the LSTM, we can get the interdependencies between the value within time in a better way. As you can see in this figure, this whole process is our one epoch cycle and this is our second epoch cycle, and this will go on till how many epoch cycle we assign it to. Then in LSTM, the output of our previous epoch cycle acts as a input of our next epoch cycle. As you can see, this is our one LSTM neuron, like this is our input. So the output for this LSTM neuron work as the input for the next hidden layer as well as the input for the same neuron in the next epoch cycle. As you can see in this figure, like this is working as the input for same neuron in the next epoch cycle, and in all neuron the output of that neuron work as the input of the same neuron in another epoch cycle. So with this function we can get time dependency, and it can help in predicting the stock of the next day with respect to the stock on previous and to previous days. The idea behind LSTM memory cells is to maintain a log of what is important or what is not through time. This memory cells store important information and reject non-important informations. So now we can see why LSTM is different from RNN through the help of the diagram. So they are the 2D working algorithm for RNN and LSTM. So as you can see in the RNN, this is our one epoch cycle, and the output for this epoch cycle work as the input for the next epoch cycle. But in LSTM, in addition to this function, we also have our memory cell state. So in memory cell state, we assign the value of that epoch cycle, which can help in the further calculation in next epoch cycles. So with the help of this function, we can predict our stock as we can get the dependency and we can regain the previous important information. So after learning about RNN and LSTM, we will directly build the model for predicting the stock prices. So let's get started with it. So our first step to build the model is to pull the historical stock prices of that company. So to pull the data of any stock in India, we use the library named as NSEPY. And if you want to do this for any other stock, just use the stock market ticker symbol for that company. Like I have used Reliance for Reliance Industrial Limited here. Just you have to look the NSE symbol for that company. So here we have imported the library Panda and NumPy, and to remove the scientific notation from the NumPy arrays, we have used set print options. Then after that, we have installed the NSEPY library to get any stock prices. So here we have installed the library. Then after installing the library, we will get the stock of that company. So to get the historical stock data for that company, we have first assigned our start date and end date, like from which time you have to start with the data and from which time you have to end the data. So we have collected the information for around 1 year, as you can see, from 2020 April to 2021 June. Then after assigning the start date and end date, you have to use the function getHistory to fetch the data and use the symbol for which company you want the data, and then assign the value of start and end, and you can directly get the data. So here is the shape of our data, which is 310 rows and 14 columns. So why is it 310 rows if we have assigned it more than 1 year? So as you all know that our stock market is closed on Saturday and Sunday, so that's why we can't get the data of that particular days. Then you can see our head of the data. It is what it look like. Here is the symbol of the company and the date for which the data has been collected. So as you all know that our stock market is highly volatile. So we can't accurately predict our stock price for that day, but we can get very close to it. So after collecting the data, we will visualize our stock price movement. So we have plot the line graph. You can see it in using our close price data on a particular day. So as you can see, on May 2020, our stock price was around 1500 to 1400. But in July 2021, it is around 2200. So if you purchase the stock in 2020, then you could earn around 50% of the profit. Like if you have invested 1 lakh rupees, then till now you have the sum of around 1 lakh 50,000 or 1 lakh 60,000, depending on your luck. Then after visualizing the stock prices, we will prepare the data for our model. So in LSTM model, we will need the input in the form of X versus Y, where our X will represent the last 10 day prices and Y will represent the 11th day price, where X is our input and Y will be the output of that epoch cycle. So by looking at a lot of such examples from the past 1 year, so our LSTM will be able to learn the movement of the price in the future, and hence when we pass the last 10-day prices, it will be able to predict tomorrow's stock price. Since LSTM is a neural network based algorithm, standardizing and normalizing the data is mandatory for a fast and more accurate fit. So here we have used the min-max scaler to normalize the data. And how does the min-max scaler work? So it works as the ratio of highest and smallest price. So as you can see, this was our top data and it has been converted into this figure. And how does it convert it? So as you can see, this is 0, which means the lowest price in our data set, and if it is 1, it means the highest price in our data set. So with respect to the minimum and the maximum, our other price get changed with the ratio of these two. Then after normalizing the data, then we will prepare the data into our training and testing set. So to split the data into two samples, first we have created our two samples, X sample and Y sample, and this statement timestamp equal to 10. It means that our next day price prediction is based on the last 10 days in our dataset. Then after assigning timestamp value, we will iterate through the value to create the combination. So from this loop, we will create the combination. You can see the combination later on. So after creating the combination, we have to reshape our input as the 3D, which means number of samples, timestamp, and feature. But for Y, we do not reshape it in 3D as it is supposed to be single column only. So for Y, it is only number of samples and the feature, and there is no timestamp as we are predicting for our next day only. So by this statement reshape, we have converted into 3D, which means that this is our number of samples, this is our timestamp, and this is the feature. So as you can see, this is the shape of the X data and this is the shape of the Y data, as it is 3D and it is 2D. Then after creating X data and Y data, we will split the data into training and testing set. So for testing data, we have kept the last few days of data to test the learning of the model and rest for the training the model. Here I am choosing last 5 days as our testing data. As you can see in this line, we have chosen the number, then we have split the data according to the testing records. So here we have assigned the value to xtrain, ytest, ytrain and ytest. Then after that, we will print the shape of our data So this is our training data shape, which include xtrain and ytrain, and this is our testing data shape, which include xtest and ytest. As you can see, our x data is only in 3D and y data is only in 2D. Then after splitting the data into training and testing set, we will visualize the input and the output data for LSTM. So here we are printing some sample input and output values to help you visualize how the LSTM model will learn the prices. So you can see the input is a 3D array of the last 10-day price. Here it is, and the output is only 1D array for the next price. So now our data is ready for the LSTM model. So we will create our LSTM model. So now you can see in this statement, as you can see, the output layer has only one neuron as we are predicting the next day price. If we want to predict the price for multiple days, then you can change the input data and neuron equal to the number of days you have to forecast. So here we need only 10 previous day data and we will provide only one prediction for the next day. Then after that, I have used 3 LSTM layer, 1 output layer. You can choose more layer if you don't get the accuracy for your data. Similarly, you can increase or decrease the number of neurons in the hidden layer. Just keep in mind the more neuron and layer you use, the slower the model becomes because now there are many more computations to be done. So our each layer has some hyperparameter which need to be tuned. So we will take a look at some of the important hyperparameter of LSTM below. So first hyperparameter is unit. So our unit will be equal to 10. This means that we are creating a layer with 10 neurons in it, means 10 boxes, as you have already seen in the figure, and each of these 10 neurons will be receiving the value of inputs. Then our next hyperparameter is input shape. In input shape, we send two values, our timestamp and the total feature, like input and the output. The input expected by the LSTM is in 3D format. Like take an example, if our input look like this, 420, 10 and 1, which means we have 420 data sample, 10 means the timestamp and 1 means the feature, means that we will predict the price of our next day using the price of our previous 10 days. Then after that, our next hyperparameter is kernel initializer. So we have assigned our kernel initializer as uniform, which means that when the neurons start their computation, some algorithm has to decide the value for each weight. This parameter specified that you can choose different value for it, like normal or glorot uniform. Then after this parameter, we have our next hyperparameter, which is activation function. So for deep learning, activation function is very important. In this model, we have assigned the activation function as ReLU, and you can choose the value of activation function like ReLU, 10, sigmoid function, and many more functions. Then after the activation function, we have a return sequence which we have assigned it true. That means that our LSTM will backpropagate through the time. Hence, they return the value of the output from each timestamp to the next hidden layer. This keeps the expected input of the next hidden layer in the 3D format, and this parameter will be false in the last hidden layer because now it does not have to return the 3D output to the final dense layer. Then after this hyperparameter, there will be our optimizer in which we have assigned the value of Adam. This parameter helps to find the optimum value for each weight in the neural network. Adam is the most useful optimizer, and the another one which is also very popular is RMS prop. Then after this, there are two hyperparameter which will impact our accuracy by a lot. So our first parameter is the batch size. We have assigned the value of 3, and this specify how many rows will be passed to the network in one go, after which the SSE calculation will begin and the neural network will start adjusting its weights based on the errors. And when all the rows are passed in the batch of 3 rows, each is specified in this parameter, then we will call that a one epoch cycle or one full data cycle. This is also known as mini batch gradient descent. A small value of the batch size will make our LSTM look at the data slowly, like 2 rows at a time or 4 rows at a time, which could lead to the overfitting as compared to the large value like 20 or 50 rows at a time, which will make our LSTM look at the data very fast, which could lead to underfitting. Hence, a proper value must be chosen using the hyperparameter tuning. So we can also perform the hyperparameter tuning in all these hyperparameters, as we can assign our kernel initializer as uniform, normal, or activation function as ReLU 10 function or sigmoid function, and we can assign that our batch size can be 3, 5, 7, 10, 11, and epoch cycle can be 10, 20, 30, 40, and any number can be assigned. And after running the hyperparameter tuning function, it will tell us the best hyperparameter to build a LSTM model. Then after that, we will see our last hyperparameter, which is epoch cycle. So our epoch cycle can be any number, but what does this mean? The same activity of adjusting weight continue for n number of times for epoch cycle as specified by this parameter. In simple terms, the LSTM look at the full training data 10 times and adjusts its weights. And now you are familiar with all the hyperparameter of LSTM. So we will build a model. In this model, we have created our 4-layer model. As you can see here, our first layer, our second layer, our third layer, and our fourth layer. And this is our output layer, which is very important. And now you can see all the hyperparameter that we have discussed: our activation function, input shape, return sequence, and our optimizer, and our loss means that how we compile our data in the form of mean squared error. Then after creating all the layers and our output layer, we have compiled the data. Then after compiling our model, we will fit the data into our model. We have used Xtrain and Ytrain to fit it in our model. And this is our batch size. We have used the batch size of 3 and the epoch cycle as 110, as it gave the best accuracy for our model. I have tried the batch size as 5, 10, and epoch cycle as 90, 100, and 200. But from this combination, I have got the best accuracy. Then after that, this statement is just to find the time our model has taken to create. Like, this is how our model performed, starting from epoch cycle number 1 to epoch cycle 110, and our total time taken to build this model is only 1 minute. And if we add more number of layers or more number of epoch cycle or less number of batch sizes, our time taken to create a model will only increase. Then after creating the model, we will measure the accuracy on our testing data. Now using the trained model, we are checking if the predicted price for the last 5 days are close to the actual price or not. But before that, we have to inverse transform our prediction as it was in normalized form. Since we normalized the data before the model training, the prediction on testing data will also be normalized. Hence, the inverse transformation will bring the value to the original scale. Then only we can calculate the percentage accuracy. So from this statement, first we have predict the value. Then after predicting the value, we have used the inverse transformation to transform our data from normalized form to original scale. Then after that, we have also used inverse transform on our original data to get the original price value for our testing data. After getting both our original data and predicted price, we have performed the accuracy of our prediction, and this tells us that our model is 98% accurate. So by using this data, we can invest our money in the Reliance stocks for our next few days and earn a lot of money. Then after predicting the accuracy, we will visualize the result, and here is what it look like. Our light blue line is our original value and our dark blue line is our predicted value. So as you can see, there is only the difference of around 40 rupees, which is around 2% of the original data. And our accuracy also say that our model is only 98%. Therefore, we can invest in Reliance stock using this model and gain a huge profit. Then after seeing the visualization of the accuracy, we will see how good our LSTM model has fitted in our original data. So we have written some code using test prediction and train prediction and plot the graph, and here it is what it looks like. So as you can see, our model is very good fitted with respect to the original price of this company stock. So after creating the model and seeing the visualization, we will see how to predict the stock price for the next day. If you want to predict the price for tomorrow, all you have to do is to pass the last 10-day price to our model in 3D format as it was used in the training set. The below snippet show how to take the last 10-day prices manually and do a single prediction for the next price. So from this statement, we will get our last 10-day prices, and here is what it look like. Then after getting last 10-day prices, we have assigned it to the last 10 days and then normalize the data as we have used in our training model. Then after normalizing the data, we have to convert it into the 3D model. So from this statement, we have converted it into 3D model. Then our data is ready for the prediction. So we just have to write regressor.predict and the parameter for this should be our last 10 days. Then after this, we got the value of our predicted price. Then we just have to inverse transform the data and get the original scale. So this is our prediction for 11th day, which is 2067, and the date will be around 1 July. And I checked and found that the closing price for today was around 2105, which is very close to our prediction. So that's not bad for such a little effort. Therefore, you can predict for more days in future and can make a little extra money. So for conclusion, this prediction is only short term. The moment you try to predict for multiple days, like for next 30 days or for next 60 days, this will fail miserably. Not because our LSTM model is bad, but because stock market is highly volatile. So don't bet your money simply on this model. Do some research and then use the model as a complementary tool for analysis. So that's all for LSTM and stock predictor. Hope you like the video. So for more amazing content, do like and share the video.